When you read the story starts off with God and Satan having this dialogue and God giving Satan permission. And it's interesting that there are two areas that the enemy chose to attack first. There was the area of finances. Does that ring a bell to anybody? Because livestock was how you made your money in that day and time. And all of Job's livestock is destroyed. I wish I had some folks that knew about Job. The second area that the enemy attacked was family. He destroyed all of his children. Let the church say finances and family. Now, this ought to give us a clue into how the enemy works today. He attacks finances and he attacks, sure enough, family. But those are not what he's after. He's not after your marriage. He ain't looking for a bride. He's not after your money. He's not trying to buy anything. What the enemy is after is you coming out of your mouth in a way that curses God instead of a way that praises God. And I believe even if he's not cursing you, as long as he can keep you quiet. Y'all don't read the Bible. And he attacks those areas that he thinks has so much importance to you that anything going wrong in those areas will elicit from you a faithless response. Touch somebody one more time and tell your neighbor, the enemy is not after your family. I know it's hard because we say all of these catchphrases. The enemy's after you. The devil is busy. Talk with me. The devil ain't after none of that. He's after you. But he knows what value those things have to you. Y'all ain't with me. I'm trying to help three of y'all before you go back. And if he messes with those things, he might make you or cause you to choose to speak out of your mouth in a way that contradicts your faith. I believe that's cuss words. I would think that's. And then we get one tragedy after another. As if one thing that we're fighting is not enough, we're fighting something else at the same time. Y'all ain't with me today, but that's all right. And there's one thing that is constant in every tragedy in the text: one survivor. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, son, Job is not the only one in this story that everybody in here can relate to. But everybody in here can relate to the nameless survivor in the text of every calamity. Here's what the Lord told me. He said that we could all relate to him because every one of us in here, in some area of our lives, is a survivor. I wish I had a praying church. Let me help you. Eventually, every one of us is going to face some tragedies. Don't everybody say amen at once. Some calamities, some difficulties, some dark days that we've got to manage right in order to come out of it. Everybody in here, from the pulpit to the front door, at some point will join the fellowship of men and women who have been knocked around by life. I wish I had some company. Everybody in here will eventually join the club called the Fellowship of Suffering. And admission is inescapable and membership is inevitable. I think I'm preaching better than y'all saying amen. Can I talk to you who are survivors? See, survivors keep going despite opposition and setback. They may want to quit, they may want to throw in the towel, but they persevere. They make the most of their misfortune. They don't just exist or subsist, but they live life to its fullest. And I'm talking about survivors in here. Do I have any survivors in here who can declare and decree, I'm determined not to give up. I'm determined to keep going forward. despite opposition, despite the haters, despite setbacks, despite tragedies, I will survive.